Iraq has reportedly resumed discussions with Syria to revive an old oil pipeline running from Kirkuk to Baniyas in an effort to diversify its oil export lines. Baghdad has also said that it seeks to resume the export of oil from its Kurdistan region to Turkey. That pipeline was shut down in March 2023 after an arbitration court in Paris ordered Ankara to pay $1.5 billion to Iraq for transporting oil from Iraq's Kurdistan region without Baghdad's approval. Joining us from Antalya to talk on energy routes, new and old, and their usage implications for the broader region is Vakkas Dogantekin, a senior correspondent at the Anadolu Agency. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you briefly walk us through the latest surrounding the Türkiye-Iraq oil pipeline? Where's the holdup? Why is the oil not flowing?
Hello. First off, it's a pleasure to be here with you again. There are certain issues between Turkey and Iraq at the moment, but there's also a very positive momentum between the governments, and I think it's a process that will end in a nice way for the both countries eventually. But right now it's a position of bargaining on both sides, and I think the Iraqi administration of flouting this idea at the moment, using it as a leverage against Turkey, it might be. And yes, of course, it is always making sense for Iraqis to, find different outlets to export their oil and, obtain some revenues out of it. But without securing the region, all pipelines will be pipe dreams. And it is a very, problematic region at the moment. And we have a new Syrian administration for which the Baniyas Kirkuk oil line is the least of its concerns, because there are still a lot of rebellions across the country they are trying to suppress. And there is this constant Israeli violations of its airspace and bombing of its towns. And a lot of, resurrections in Latakia, Tartus area, the remnants of Assad regime. So, and also there is the issue of sanctions on the Syrian administration. So at the moment, talking about such a huge mega project that was dead decades ago, to resurrect it, both countries need billions of dollars, but they lack that money. It's not an oil pipeline that can be rehabilitated. It has to be built from scratch. The Russians tried to rehabilitate it, and then even planned and did some analysis and saw that the cost is too high, and they withdrew from it. Gazprom was interested in the project, but it just failed in 2010s. So it's a mega project that neither country is ready at the moment. I mean, Iraq, if this Iraq's idea to revive this oil pipeline, we always know Iran is always interested in reviving this oil pipeline to carry its own oil from Kirkuk to Baniyas and to world markets. But it's a very premature project. I mean, it is very early, too early to talk about this, and for the current circumstances, there's the issue of Al Hol camp in Syria, where the ISIS terrorists and their families live, most of whom are Iraqis. So there's a huge security gap in the region, and building such a project requires a lot of confidence, a lot of security, and that is something Iraq and Syria and regional countries have to get together and solve. And as you remember, in March, early March, Turkey, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, and Lebanon, they got together and they brought this new initiative of security in the region to combat ISIS and to widen development and cooperation in the region. So I think it's just a wait-and-see game. It's not even proper to talk about such a mega project between Syria and Iraq at the moment, I believe.
Well, as you've mentioned, there are some more pressing issues. Thank you so much for rounding up all the details for us.
You're welcome.